Hi, welcome to Daddykirbs Farm. I'd like to introduce you to my goats. Cali, come on. Come on. Come on. Good girl. This little black and white goat right here is Cali. We named her Cali because she's like a calico cat. Cali's pretty small. They're both pretty small, but Cali's the smallest of the two. And Fawn, named her Fawn because she's kind of a fawn color. They're both the same age. They love carrots. We've had Cali and Fawn now for about 3.5 years. I don't do a lot of videos about the goats because we don't do a lot with the goats. They just kind of hang out. They eat some of our scraps, and they have this enclosed area, which I'll give you a better glimpse of in a little bit, where they live, and they keep the grasses and the weeds down. When we first got goats, we had this vision that the goats would be able to free range on our farm like a dog or a chicken or something, just eating the grass and the weeds, and they were going to behave. Well, that's just not reality. Whenever they do get out of their space, sometimes we do intentionally let them out to go graze. First thing they want to go to is my blackberry bushes. These 2 blackberry bushes on this fence row have been abused terribly whenever we've turned our backs on the goats. Cali and Fawn are really just a couple of pets. We don't treat them like farm animals where they have to produce something. They just live out here, and we come out and visit them every day, and we try to pet them. But both Fawn and Cali came from a flock, a herd. They came from a herd that was a wild herd, so they didn't get bottle raised as a baby. So we have to coax them with treats to get them to come up real close to us, because even though we've had them for 3.5 years and they know what we're going to do, those first few months living in a wild herd, well, it gave them the impression that they didn't have to be that trusting of humans. So they're not the type of goat that wants to sit on your lap and be nuzzled like a dog. We had one like that once. Does that feel good, Fawn? Huh? You like that? The herd that these goats came from was a mix of different types of pygmy goats. I think there was Nigerian and Nubian and different things mixed in. So Fawn and Cali are very likely a mixed breed of several different types of pygmy goats. The fenced-in area where the goats live has about a 50-foot by 100-foot area. On this side, the long side, this is our neighbor's property over here, so this is our property line. We ended up building a double fence to help keep the coyotes out, because there was a time when we were come home from church and we look out here and there was a coyote that jumped straight over this little fence. It's a cattle fence. You can see it over here. It's only about this tall. The coyote jumped straight in, and we actually lost a goat like that. When we first moved out to the farm, it was kind of like these 2 goats. We had a brown goat and a black and white goat, and the coyotes took the black and white goat. So we built this fence. It's a 6-foot fence. It's about 18 inches in front of the cattle fence. So there's this barrier between where we let brush, preferably thorned trees and bushes, grow up like these here. These have some pretty gnarly thorns on them. This is a spiny hackberry. Things like that that grow up in the middle of these 2 fences help keep the coyotes out. And the fact that it's 6 feet tall on this side. It's not completely coyote proof because they could come in from the other sides, but they have to be a little more ambitious to want to come into the yard and jump into the goat fence from those sides. You don't want the hay? Our goats get primarily 3 things to eat, and that is the natural forage that's in here, which is the weeds and the brush. And then we throw a flake of hay in every once in a while just to make sure they're getting the roughage that they need, which they do like, but they're a little shy sometimes when we come out here. And then we give them a small scoop of grain with minerals. Over here where we store the hay, now that we have a horse, we're actually storing more hay. Before we would just buy a bale at a time for the goats, but now we have, I think we have 8 bales for the goats and the horse. But we have these bins where we also store some different grains for the goats and the chickens and the ducks and the horse. So we have 4 containers now. And this here is the goat food. It's just a typical production bag grain. It's goat, I think it's a goat and sheep formula. Typically we'll get about half a scoop. This is their nightly ration. This is actually probably a little much. And we'll get a handful of minerals. This is just a granular mineral, and we'll spread it in there about like that, and that's what they get every night. They're ready for bed. It's nighttime. When the sun starts going down, they know what time it is. So this door here we have propped open with a chain. We just drop the chain off of it so I can pull the door shut behind me. I won't pull it shut right now so camera lady can get in. All the chickens are supposed to be put away, but somehow they managed to not get in there. So at nighttime, we just come up here. We got this mounted to the wall. We take the scoop, split that between the 2 halves, and they love sitting up on this all day and during the heat of the day, and then at nighttime to eat. I call this their room with a view. Since we're in here, I'll go ahead and give you a little bit of an idea. What, you guys want that? It's empty. That's Big Red. It's my Big Red rooster. This goat house was built simple lean-to off the back of the chicken coop. I wanted to incorporate a lot of recycled materials in it, so we have the pallet walls. We have 3 pallets, 2 on this side, 1 on that side. Also the shelf and the table. The table was built to give the goats a platform to jump on because they like to be up on things. Also to easily get up onto their shelf. So far with the building as it's positioned, this being the south side, which is why it's completely boarded up, allows for it to stay fairly cool. It's nice and open, has a lot of flow through from the coop and all the other sides, and this side provides a lot of shade. The goats spend a lot of time up here during the day when it's really hot because there's a nice breeze that comes through here, lots of good shade. It's got 2 levels for them to jump on, and they like to be where the food is. Not that there's anything left in the middle of the day. I got some carrots left. Got some carrots. Whoops! Dropped it. Messy eater. You don't want it? You want your grain? You guys are picking grain over carrots? I guess they like their grain better than carrots. I'll just drop this in there. Actually, I'll save 2 of them, and we'll give them to Maggie on the way out. I did this video in response to a comment where somebody asked me to do a goat update. A lot of times people ask me to do animal updates, and my first thought is, what should I say? I don't know what you want to know. So I asked in the comments, what would you like to know about the goats? And this person gave me wonderful feedback, gave me a few things that they would like to know, so I hope I covered those in this video. Like I said, we don't do a lot of goat videos because they just don't, except for being here and being pets and being something that we care for. But the care is kind of routine, so it's not, in my opinion, something that makes a great video. But if I've left something out and you'd like to see more or hear more about the goats, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll see if I can get those questions addressed. Thank you very much for joining me here on the Daddykirbs Farm for this goat edition. Let's go feed a horse. Maggie's following Luke because he's got a grain bucket. This is not your grain, Maggie. That's chicken food. Here.
That's duck food.
Oh, that's duck food, not chicken food. You can have a carrot.
Everyone needs
another
water.
one. I got another one. Hold on, hold on. There you go. There you go. Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.